Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about ranged builds. It's going to be the ranged guide. So for every part in the game, early, mid, and late, and end game, and a little special section for those of you who want to do, theoretical max damage sort of deal. To be honest, the ranged class is the boring one. Like it's good, it's standard, it's simple, it's easy to understand. It's really like it's a king of damage, and it's just let's be honest, all you're doing is shooting. Really doesn't get that exciting. So with that being said, let's get into the accessories first off here. Now for your ring, it's always going to be the high tower ring. As well, actually, we'll get into that later, but most of the time it'll be high tower for your ring, just because it's always range damage. Necklace, you can switch between the tricolor if you want, max damage sort of thing. Vital pendant if you're struggling to survive, if you're for some reason, melee range, maybe you're going with a build that I'll talk about later. Or you can go with the green crystal if you're confident in your movement, you need that little bit of movement speed to put you through. For your back, you could switch out between, honestly, I would say the Ranger's backpack and the Meeting Remnant, just because that gives you a little bit of damage, move speed, and a little bit of regen. So if you are, once again struggling with living, that is definitely an option. For your miscellaneous slot, you're going to want to switch between the Brain Monocle and the Xenoculus, I think that's how you say it. This gives same, range damage, so pretty simple stuff, more damage, quicker kills, better stuff. You know how it goes. Alright, so early game. This is about as underwhelming as range can get. So for early game, you want to go with 3 pieces of Dark Hunter. Now, it's not very expensive, let's be honest. It's easy to obtain, if you really want to get some range damage. I doubt you'll be doing ranged early game. Like, if you, you'll find more armor pieces rather than going for the Dark Hunter. But if you really can't find range pieces, then, you can go 3 pieces of Dark Hunter. For your boots, you want to go with the normal jump boots, as always, early game. It's always my first purchase on every playthrough. And for your weapons, now, this is going to be a staple, an absolute staple for range players. It's going to be the pipe rifle. Now Arnold is going to give us that quest. He's off in the wilderness, and you got to go to his house and talk to him, and you go talk to the other guy, and then you go talk to Arnold, and then you go talk to the other guy, and you go find balloons, and yeah, it's great. It's a great quest, really. It's something special. So once you complete that quest, you're gonna get the pipe rifle. It's gonna be your early game range. It's gonna do it's really like the link between early and mid game. Getting ranged under your belt, so you'll be able to farm, magma, spider, all that, and then get all their drops. It's really like the key to getting to mid game. So speaking of mid game, we get a little bit interesting here. I'm gonna go with the armor first. So for your armor, if you want normal range builds, for guns and all that, you want to go with 3 pieces of raised general. Now that does have a very good range bonus. It's not terribly expensive, and it's just all around good for range damage. Now this is going to be the interesting part. If you want to go for the melee range build, I know, a little weird, melee range build, you want to go Knight's Army, 3 pieces of that, because it gives you regen, it gives you range damage, it gives you endurance, all the things you want really when you're going melee ranged. Now you might be like, how are we going to do that? How are we going to go melee ranged? Now, I'm glad you asked. Some people don't know this, but the Dragon King's Lance actually scales off of range damage. So that will be your melee damage, ranged melee damage. And for the other weapons you can use, as a general thing for mid-game, I would use the Gun Fist from the Rat Boy update, and the Gilded Rifle. Now, once again, I don't know if I'd be buying the Gilded Rifle, but if you do end up getting it from something, hoorah, you should be happy, but it is quite expensive for what it is, I would say. Mid-game boots, you kind of get to switch it up between, a couple of things. I would say you can switch it between Spider Stilts and Otherworld boots. Now that is a little bit interesting, because the Otherworld boots gives you endurance. You might want endurance over, the jump height and all that. I don't know. kind of depends on what you want, but it is definitely an option. Late game, we're going to be talking about the armor once again first. World Sculptor, that's a obviously, you know, top tier range damage sort of game. Machine Rug, that is going to be very expensive, but we are talking late game here. We're talking almost best of the best. So Drill Bit, another classic if you want some awesome perks on that one. Forgotten Life is probably going to be your bread and butter, I'm not gonna lie. If you get Forgotten Life, you're probably never gonna turn back to any other set. Yeah, it's like, if you play the game, you already know what Forgotten Life is like, so go with that if you just want to, you know, complete the game pretty much. For the boots, you can switch between Spider Stilts, Red Tag Lasers, and Otherworld boots. It's going to be the same for, you know, end game as well, but those are your 3 options for the boots there. Now for the weapons, we do get to switch out a little bit here. We're probably going to unlock the Frontier Star Gun, so you can buy that, and that will do tons and tons of DPS. That will be probably your most solid DPS for, honestly, you could use it forever if you really want. And the Rat Boy handgun. Now that one is a special case because you can do like the special cancel and all that, and, you know, fire off shots really quickly, so that is quite good. If you did want to do like the max range kind of damage sort of setup, we are going to talk about that in a second. So let's get into it. We're talking about end game range. Now this is like your tippy top, you know, sort of, well, you know, once again, I have a special section for a special, you know, weapon that we'll be talking about. You know, everyone loves it. Anyway, so end game for your ranged, it's going to be, so this is once again for your guns, 2 pieces of True Spectral for your chest and your legs. And guess what we're doing for the helmet? We're talking about gold. Yep, gold. Gives, bro, it gives like the most range. It's crazy. It honestly does way too much damage, but that's alright, because you're ranged and damage is the name of the game. Boots, once again, Spider Stilts, Red Tags, Otherworld boots, anything you're feeling for those, whatever you really want to play around. And weapons, you can use the Rat Boy handgun again, just does the most damage. Once again, you can kind of justify the Frontier Star Gun, but, you know, Rat Boy handgun way cooler. Anyway, now we're gonna get to the special part for all you absolute freaks who just want to stand there and deal the most damage in the game and, you know, be safe. And yeah, I'm sure you guys already know we're talking about the Gnome rocket launcher. 50 mil to unlock that bad boy, 1,000 gold per rocket. Yeah, spending money to make money sort of thing. The reason why it's in a special category is because it's boring. It's, if I'm honest, I never liked it. I didn't like the gameplay of it. Just blow things up. You know, you can do the attack cancel on it and you just get a shit ton of rockets. It is absolutely bonkers. Yeah, so for you, for your armor, if you want to go with a Gnome rocket launcher build, you want to go full endurance. So we're going to be looking at the Propaganda Head, 2 pieces of Forgotten Life for your chest and legs, Otherworld boots for your boots, because once again, endurance on that. You got the Ring of Power instead for your ring, because that gives endurance. I know it gives melee damage, but the Gnome rocket launcher doesn't take any damage bonuses, so it is quite literally how many rockets you can fire out is how many, like, how much damage you do. For your necklace, you can choose the green crystal, just because you're going to be moving around, you're not really going to be hit, you know, ideally, so green crystal for the neck. And you can go with the front bullet pack, just because, you know, you're going to be spending a lot, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be crazy. And for your back, we got the Meeting Remnant. That gives you a little bit of walk speed, a little bit regen. Definitely not a bad pickup. So all in all, ranged is, you know, it's the problem child, if we're all going to be honest. It is the pinnacle of boring, but does a lot of damage. So yeah, if that's your kind of shtick, go hard. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. You know, I know, crazy guide. Fun class, totally, not really. I'm almost completed the Itempedia. I just have, you know, the problem ones left. Everyone knows the problem children. The 3 left, so I might be live streaming those. If you are interested, stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.